Magandang araw mga kaibigang oso! Naririto na naman ang inyong mathematics teacher na si Sir Richard upang magbigay sa inyo ng kaalaman patungkol sa mathematics. Ang lesson natin sa araw na to ay solving quadratic equation by completing the square. Pero bago ang lahat, kung hindi ka pa nakapag-subscribe sa aking YouTube channel, ay iniimbitahan ko kayo to click subscribe, click the notification bell, and choose all para lagi kang updated sa next video upload ko. Para sa objective ng lesson for today, ay kailangan nating isolve ang quadratic equation by completing the square. Pero bago ang lahat, dapat din natin malaman ang iba't ibang methods to solve for the quadratic equation. So muli, meron tayong apat na methods na maaaring magamit to find the roots of quadratic equation. Una, ang extracting the square root. Pangalawa, ang factoring. Pangatlo, ang completing the square. At pang-apat, ang quadratic formula. Natapos na natin sa mga nakaraang videos ang extracting the square root at factoring. So sa araw na ito ay pagtutuunan natin ng pansin ang completing the square. Pero bago yan, dapat ulit natin i-recall ang perfect square trinomial or PST sapagkat ito ay maaaring magamit sa method ng completing the square. Sa paggamit ng perfect square trinomial, ay meron tayong pattern na dapat alamin. We have a square plus minus 2ab plus b square is equal to a plus minus b quantity square. For example, meron tayong x square plus 6x plus 9. Paano natin masasabi na ang item na ito ay perfect square trinomial? Dapat kuhain natin ang square root ng first at ng last term. Square root of x square is x. Ang square root naman ng 9 is 3. So, x and 3 i-multiply. So, that will become 3x times 2. So, dapat ang maging resulta nun ay yung nasa gitna, which is 6x. Meaning to say, this problem is under by perfect square trinomial. Knowing that, we can now use the pattern. Ang sagot dapat natin pag kukuhain natin ang factor ng item na to must be x plus 3 quantity square. So, ulitin natin ang procedure. Get the square root of the first and the last term. So, square root of x square is equal to x. Square root of 9 is equal to 3. And just simply get the sign of the middle term. And that will become x plus 3 quantity square. Na kung saan ang item na to ay pwede rin nating tawaging x plus 3 times the quantity of x plus 3. Muli nating subukan sa pangalawang halimbawa. So meron tayo ulit x square minus 6x plus 9. Square root of x square is x. Square root of 9 is 3. So, x times 3 will have 3x. Multiply by 2 from the formula. So, you will get 6x. Meaning to say, itong item na to ay under ng perfect square trinomial. So, gamitin na natin ang method in finding the factors of perfect square trinomial. So, our answer must be x minus 3 quantity square. So, paano lumabas ang x minus 3 quantity square? We simply get the square root of the first and the last. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 9 is 3. And just simply get the sign of the middle term which is negative. So, ang magiging factor ngayon ng ating katanungan ng x squared minus 6x plus 9 ay x minus 3 quantity square. Wherein, this item can also be written as x minus 3 times x minus 3. So ngayon, para mas mabilis nating matutunan ang completing the square, dapat siguro muna nating malaman at ma-practice in finding the missing term to complete the trinomial. So for example, meron tayong x squared plus 8x plus blank. So, dapat nating malaman kung ano ilalagay natin sa blank. Ang given lamang na ating gagamitin is the value of b, which is the term na katabi ng x. So, our b now is equal to 8. Using that b, i-apply natin ang formula na b over 2 quantity squared. So let's substitute to find the missing term. b over 2 quantity squared, substitute the value of b, which is 8. So we have equal to 8 over 2 quantity squared. 8 divided by 2 will become 4. And 4 still have square, so that will be 4 squared is equal to 16. Therefore, ang missing term na ating hinahanap ay 16. Kapag nakumpleto na natin ang trinomial, this will now be called as PST, or perfect square trinomial, na kung saan pwede na natin siyang i-factor out as x plus 4 quantity squared. So, paano ulit lumabas ang x plus 4 quantity squared? We simply get the square root of the first and the last term. So, square root of x squared is x, square root of 16 is 4, at kinuha natin ang sign ng middle term, which is positive. Kaya lumabas ang x plus 4 quantity squared. Let's try another one. So, we have x squared minus 6x plus blank. Kuhain natin ang value of b, which is negative 6. Gamitin ang formula, which is b over 2 quantity squared, and solve by substitution. b over 2 quantity squared will now become negative 6 over 2 quantity squared will lead us to negative 6 divided by 2 ay negative 3 quantity squared, you will have 9. Therefore, ang missing term natin ay 9. Kung ating mapapansin sa unang dalawang halimbawa na ating ginawa, laging positive ang ating third term. Bakit? Sapagkat ang ating term dito sa ating formula ay ini-square natin. So, any signs that once we use the exponent square, ay magiging positive lagi ang sagot. Therefore, x squared minus 6x plus 9 ay pwede na natin isulat into the factored form x minus 3 quantity squared. Ngayon naman ay subukan nating sagutin ang quadratic equation by completing the square wherein that a is equal to 1. Para sa example number 1, ang ating routine ay nasa bandang gitna at ang ating steps sa dapat sundin ay nasa bandang kanan. The given problem is x squared plus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. By using the completing the square, ang kailangan lamang natin gawin ay apply ang APE na kung saan yung lahat ng may x ay nasa bandang kaliwa at lahat ng number lamang ay nasa bandang kanan. So, ang gagawin natin sa ating given, ililipat natin ang negative 3 using APE. So, from negative 3, nilipat sa kanan, magiging positive 3. So, ang mangyayari sa ating equation ay x squared plus 2x equals 3. Then, after this, gagawin na natin ang pattern to complete the trinomial. Ang pattern na aking tinutukoy ay plus blank equals plus blank. So, aalamin natin kung ano ang third term dito. Gamit ang formula na b over 2 quantity squared, kuhain natin ang value ng b, which is 2, divide natin by 2, and then square. 2 divided by 2 is 1, 1 square is 1. Therefore, ang missing term natin to complete the trinomial is 1. Then, idagdag natin sa kabila yung number na pinang-kumpleto natin sa trinomial. So, after this, we can now say that the left side of the equation is PST. Therefore, we can now apply the factoring method using PST. So, square root of x squared is x, square root of 1 is 1. Kuhain natin yung sign sa gitna, then enclose it, then put square. So, that will be the factored form of our left side. Equals, solve natin yung right side na 3 plus 1, magkakaroon tayo ngayon ng 4. After this, ang susunod natin gagawin ay i-apply ang extracting the square root. So we only put square root sign on the left and the right side of the equation. So ang mangyayari ngayon ay isosolve natin ang problem. So square root of x plus 1 quantity square, we simply cancel the square and the square root. So ang natira na lang ay x plus 1 equals, we now solve square root of 4. Based on the list before, square root of 4 is 2. At huwag ulit natin kakalimutan na maglagay ng plus minus. And then after this, ang sunod natin ginawa, i-apply natin ulit ang APE para x na lang ang matira sa left side, and then we simplify. From positive 1, ilipat natin sa kanan, so we will have negative 1. Therefore, ang magiging resulta ng equation natin ay x equals negative 1 plus minus 2. Then we now simplify para makuha natin ang solution set na 1 and negative 3. Negative 1 plus 2 is 1. Negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. Therefore, the answer is, the solution set to the problem is x such that x is equal to 1 and negative 3. Let's try looking for the roots in example number 2. The given problem is p squared minus 6p plus 4 equals 0. Then, gamitin ulit natin ang APE para ang mapunta sa left side ay puro may mga letters at yung nasa right side ay yung number alone. So, we now use APE for positive 4. Ito ay magiging negative 4. Kaya ang magiging resulta, p squared minus 6p is equal to negative 4. Then, ilagay na natin sa pattern to complete the trinomial. At alamin natin ngayon ang term na idadagdag para makompleto ang trinomial. Gamitin ulit natin ang formula kanina na b over 2 quantity square. Kuhain natin ang value ng b from the given equation. We have negative 6 divided by 2 and then square. So negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. Quantity squared, you will get 9. Therefore, ang term to complete the trinomial is 9. Then, kopyahin din sa bandang kanan, another 9. Then, using this, we can now say that it is PST. Then, we can now have the factor. Square root of p squared is p. Square root of 9 is 3. And get the negative sign from the middle term para ito ang maging sign ng ating factored form. So, p squared minus 6p plus 9 is equivalent to p minus 3 quantity squared. Then, solve natin ang nasa right side ng ating equation. So, negative 4 plus 9 is equal to 5. Given this, so ang next move natin to solve the problem is to apply extracting the square root. So, we only put square root sign on the left and the right side of the equation. Then, we are now going to solve. So, square root of p minus 3 quantity squared will become p minus 3 dahil kinansel lamang natin ang square at ang square root. Equals square root of 5 since wala siya doon sa listahan natin. So, kopyahin lang natin ang square root of 5. And don't forget to add the signs plus minus. And then, gamitan natin ang APE and simplify. So, negative 3 ilipat sa kanan. So, we will have 3. Then, copy plus minus square root of 5. Then, we can now have it as the answer. Paghiwalay natin ang plus at ang minus. So, our answer will be the solution set is equal to 3 plus square root of 5 and 3 minus square root of 5. Or pwede na rin natin i-declare as the answer yung is equal to 3 plus minus square root of 5. Sagutan naman natin ang example number 3, having the given x squared minus 4x equals to negative 9. Since ang ating item ay nasa format na kung saan lahat ng letters ay nasa kaliwa, At lahat ng number alone ay nasa kanan. Therefore, ang gagawin na lang natin is to have the pattern to complete the trinomial. So that is plus blank equals plus blank. So alamin natin ang term to complete the trinomial. Using the formula, b over 2 quantity square. Substituting the value of b from this, which is negative 4. So negative 4 divided by 2 quantity square. Negative 4 divided by 2, you will get negative 2. Then square that, you'll get 4. Therefore, ang term to complete the trinomial is 4 and add another 4 on the right side. Then with this, we can now say that we have PST on the left side, kaya pwede na natin siyang isulat as x minus 2 quantity square. X minus 2 quantity square ay nagmula ulit. Square root of x square is equal to x, square root of 4 which is 2, at yung negative sign dito na kinope natin para maging sign ng factored form. Then do not forget to apply parenthesis square. Equals, solve natin ang right side. Negative 9 plus 4 is equal to negative 5. Next process is to apply again extracting the square root. So we put square root sign on the left and square root sign on the right side of the equation. Then we solve. So ang mangyayari ngayon, square root of x minus 2 quantity square will become x minus 2 by simply cancelling square and square root equals square root of negative 5. So meron ulit tayong negative na radical. So that will be equivalent to I, which is imaginary. So ito na siya, naging I. Then ang natitira na lang ngayon ay square root of 5 na wala sa listahan natin, kaya kinope lang natin as square root of 5. And do not forget to add the signs plus minus. Right after that, we will now apply APE. Then let's try to simplify kung pwede pang i-simplify. Negative 2, ilipat sa kabila gamit ang APE. Then we'll have x is equal to 2 plus minus I square root of 5. Ang ating item ay mayroong term na imaginary na hindi natin pwedeng ihalo sa real number. Kaya ang gagawin na natin dito ay kokopyahin na lang, that will serve as the answer, or paghihiwalayin ang plus at minus. Kagaya ng ginawa natin sa ating answer, na ang solution set x such that x is equal to 2 plus I square root of 5 and 2 minus I square root of 5. Let's now try example number 4 wherein a is greater than 1. Ganun pa rin ba ang steps na ating susundan? Let's try to use the problem. 8x squared minus 16x is equal to 64. So para magamit natin ang completing the square, there is one rule wherein a must be equal to 1. So para maging a is equal to 1, kailangan lamang natin na i-divide lahat ng terms na to your a, which is 8. Then we can now have x squared minus 2x equals 8. Paliwanag ko lang kung saan nanggaling ang x squared minus 2x equals 8. Kagaya ng sinabi natin kanina, na dapat ang a natin will become 1. So to make it 1, kailangan lang natin i-divide lahat ng terms by 8. So 8 divided by 8, you'll have 1. Negative 16 divided by 8, you'll have negative 2. 64 divided by 8, you'll have 8. Kaya umabot tayo kay x squared minus 2x equals 8. Since ang a na natin ngayon is equal to 1, we can now go back to the procedure na ginagawa natin kanina pa. Then we can now have the pattern to complete the trinomial. Plus blank is equal to plus blank. So alamin na natin ngayon ang pupuno sa ating trinomial. Using the formula, b over 2 quantity square. So getting the value of b, which is negative 2, then divide it by 2, then last is to square it. Negative 2 divided by 2, you'll have negative 1. Negative 1 squared is equal to 1. Therefore, ang kukumpleto sa ating trinomial ay 1. Then, kopyahin lang natin sa right side. Then, given this, we can now have the PST. Square root of x squared is equal to x. Square root of 1 is equal to 1. Then, copy again the sign at the middle term. Kaya meron na tayong x minus 1 quantity square equals 8 plus 1 is equal to 9. Then, next thing to do again is to extract the square root by putting square root sign on both sides, then solve. So, square root of x minus 1 quantity square, burahin natin or i-cancel ang 2, at square root ang matitira ay x minus 1 equals square root of 9 is 3. Then, do not forget to add the signs plus minus. Then, to get the value of x, we use APE. Then, let's try to simplify kung pwede pang i-simplify. So, negative 1, gamitan ng APE, ilipat sa kabila, magiging positive 1. Kaya, ang meron na tayo ngayon ay x equals 1 plus minus 3. Then, we simplify. 1 plus 3, you have 4. 1 minus 3, you have negative 2. Therefore, the answer to this problem is the solution set x such that x is equal to 4 and negative 2. So, let's try the last problem, which is example number 5. At tayo pa rin ay nasa a is greater than 1. Tignan natin kung pareho pa rin ba ang steps na ating susundin. Given problem is 2b squared plus 8b plus 16 equals 0. So, para maging mabilis ang ating routine, sundin natin ang format na lahat ng may letters ay nasa kaliwa at lahat ng number lang ay nasa kanan. So, by using APE, ililipat ang 16 to the right side of the equation. Ito na ngayon ay magiging negative 16. Then, the equation now will become 2b squared plus 8b equals negative 16. Then, ang rule natin ulit sa paggamit ng completing the square, ang term na katabi ng b square ay dapat 1. So, to make this 1, gagamitin natin yung 2 as divisor sa terms na nakikita natin sa ating equation. So, 2 divided by 2, you'll have 1. 8 divided by 2, you have 4. Negative 16 divided by 2, you have negative 8. So, the equation now will become b squared plus 4b equals negative 8. Then, we now use the pattern to complete the trinomial. That is plus blank equals plus blank. Then, atin ang alamin ang kukumpleto sa ating trinomial. Given the formula, b over 2 quantity square. Kuhain natin ang b, which is the term na katabi ng ating variable without a square, and that is 4. 4 divided by 2, quantity square. 4 divided by 2, we have 2. Then square that 2, you'll have 4. So, idadagdag natin to complete the trinomial is 4, and 4 then sa right side. After completing the trinomial, we can now call it as PST. So, b squared plus 4b plus 4 will now become b plus 2 quantity square equals, solve natin ang right side which is negative 8 plus 4, magkakaroon tayo ng negative 4. Then, we now apply extracting the square root. Lagyan natin ang radical sign or square root ang both sides. Then, we solve. Ang matitira ngayon sa ating left side is b plus 2 dahil kinancel lamang natin ang 2 at square equals square root of negative 4. You'll have square root of negative term, that is I, and square root of 4, that is 2. Then do not forget to add the signs plus minus. So ang kalalabasan ng ating item pag ginamitan ng extracting the square root ay b plus 2 is equal to plus minus 2i. And then we use APE, then we try to simplify. Positive 2, ilipat sa kabila gamit ang APE. you'll have negative 2, then copy, plus minus 2i. Uulitin ko ang binanggit ko kanina na itong term na to ay imaginary at ang term naman na ito ay real number. Hindi po natin pwedeng pagsamahin ang real number at imaginary. Therefore, we can now have this as one of the answers. B is equal to negative 2 plus minus 2i. Or pwede rin natin paghiwalayin ang plus at minus. Then we can now have the answer, which is the solution set x such that x is equal to negative 2 plus 2i and negative 2 minus 2i. So yun lamang ang mga maaari kong maibahagi on how to solve quadratic equation using completing the square. Kung merong item na malabo para sa inyo, paki-comment sa baba upang mabigyan natin ito ng ginaw sa mga susunod pang video. At kung meron naman kayong mas madaling paraan on how to complete the square in solving quadratic equation, paki-comment nyo na din. And please do not forget to like and share this video para marami pa tayong matulungang mga kabataan on how to solve quadratic equation using completing the square. And let me end this video tutorial by a Bible verse. I am complete in Him. This is from Colossians chapter 2 verse 10. Nang ibig sabihin para sa akin na tayong lahat ay makukumpleto lamang kung tayo ay nasa piling at nasa kagustuhan ng ating Panginoong may kapal. So yun lamang at maraming salamat. Keep safe and bye!